One of my favorite palettes from Too Faced. Now I do want to get the Too Faced Cherry palette. That's the Urban Decay Cherry palette. The Urban Decay Cherry palette, the Urban Decay Honey palette, and Born This Way, and there's another one, Naked Heat palette from Urban Decay I want to get. From Too Faced, oh my god, there's palettes I want from Too Faced, but one that I definitely want to repurchase again, and I told my husband, because I noticed on the 28th, 29th, and 30th of May, it's tax-free weekend this year, and I said, if we go shopping and I see this palette on sale, I'm picking this son of a nugger up. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to pick up some makeup, a little bit, but not much, but a little bit. And this is one of the palettes I want to get, and that is the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. Now, if I can find another palette I want to tie in that's on sale, that's pretty cheap, that I find cheap, I will pick it up. I will probably be going to Burlington. I don't know if we'll go to Burlington or Ross. A lot of people say go to TJ Maxx, but I really don't want to go hunt down TJ Maxx in my neighborhood. But I panned 4 shades in here. One of the shades is finished up. So I love this palette. And this palette still, till this day, smells like peaches. And I got this palette, let's see. When I had my office downstairs in my stepdaughter's old bedroom, I bought this palette. I saved money, scrapped, scribbled, saved money to buy this palette. Finally had enough money that I gave the money to my husband and said, get me a gift card. Instead, he actually let me use his bank card and purchase this palette. So I was excited to get to buy that palette, and he knows I love it. Another palette I got that I definitely love, and I think I got this in a PR package, actually from probably Jeffree Star or somebody. This is the Astrology palette by Jeffree Star. It is dirty. I have panned the shade Military. I do like this palette. Would I purchase this palette again if I finished it off? If he still has it out, Jeffree Star, yes, I would. I would like, there's a lot of Jeffree Star palettes I definitely want to get. I'd love to get the Jawbreaker palette and some of the other palettes he's got. I would love to get. But it's kind of hard. This is a Wet n Wild palette. This is the Great Glacier. I wanted every one of these palettes. Would I repurchase this palette? No. I don't think I would, because I don't really gravitate towards any other shades. The only shade I basically gravitate to is the one that is panned. And why am I going to buy a palette for just one shade that you like in that, when you could probably, you don't even know what the name of that shade is, because it doesn't tell you the name of the shades on here. It tells you the name of the palette. And I'm sure I can find other shades, even single shades, that color. Okay. Let's get into some more right here. We have another one, like the Wet n Wild I just showed you, Lights, Camera, Action. And this one I definitely would not repurchase again either. I don't think I want to buy Wet n Wild palettes anymore. There is two Wet n Wild palettes I want, and they're the big mega palettes. But these is okay. Yeah, I do like the top 3 shades. I do like this palette. But when this one's done with, I'm not going to purchase another one. Now, if somebody happens to get one and they want to send it to me, that's fine. I have 2 of these. I've done showed you 2 of them, the green and the blue. And I have this red one. I barely even use this red one. I mean, I love these palettes. I don't want to get rid of them. And I don't, but would I repurchase them? Maybe, maybe not. I might have to, like, this is what the purple one looks like. I may have to go through these palettes one day and do a video on just these palettes. or do behind the scenes of just the palettes and then say, okay, I would definitely repurchase this one and this one, but not this one. If you get my drift. I had an orange one that came with it, and I actually used that one up already. This is another palette, one of my faves. I definitely would repurchase this one if they had it. I found one like it, but it was BH Cosmetic palette like this, but it was a silver packaging, not the red packaging. I did put the silver packaging on my wish list, so. And I just recently got through using this palette in a Shop My Stash video, or in my monthly video, for my monthly palette video, but I still like it, and I did finish off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shades. Pan 6 I finished off 5 shades, which is not bad at all. This one I definitely would buy it again if I saw it again, probably. This is the Dear Diary series from Sunset Kiss, Sunset Kiss is from RK. It's from the brand Ruby Kisses. Never heard of them until I got this palette. I like this palette. I panned 3 shades, finished off 1, and I have 1, 2 I need to try to get finished. And I'm thinking about now on when I do my next Shop My Stash coming up. I'm thinking about taking, instead of having 2 palettes and Shop My Stash, I can do 3 palettes and Shop My Stash. And 1 palette is my monthly palette. The next palette is another palette the other palette that I would have to use as well. So let's get into this one. This is another Wet n Wild. This one is Comfort Zone. I like the original Comfort Zone palette. I'm not too keen on this one. I did like the big Comfort Zone palette, but this one is pretty as well. So, would I purchase this? No. Again, no. Have it now, use it, whatever. Another palette that I have, this is Revlon Just Not Nudes. I tried to get rid of this palette so many times. I was going to declutter it. I was actually going to give it to my cousin. And then I said, you know what? I'll keep it and use it. But I found out some things. If you see the 3 shades my fingers are on, these 2 shades this shade right here, and these 2 shades right here, they are hitting hard pan, and I haven't not had this palette a year yet. So I still may give that palette to my cousin if she wants it. Getting into another Amuse palette is this one right here that I definitely like as well. It's very pretty. I'm not going to say I would repurchase a lot of these palettes. Some of them I would, some of them I may not. My next 2 palettes are by Pat McGrath, the Mothership palettes. I don't remember what is what, because I had the packages hanging on the wall and I threw them in the trash, got rid of them. I didn't want them. But I have this one, and some of these are, I think they're trying to go hard pan. I don't really want to get rid of a lot of these palettes, but then, of course, I need to start using a lot of these palettes. I had a 3rd one, but I finished it off and panned it, and I was so excited when I panned it. I was like, yay! My next palettes I'm going to go through are my LA Color palettes, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've done a video on these palettes. I definitely would repurchase I'm not going to say all of these palettes, but some of them. There is one that is color that I do not have. That is a colored palette. I have a palette down here that looks just like that palette with some colors. This one we have the Glam palette. This is more like kind of a little bit of browns, tans. Well, kind of. It's trying to be a dark palette. That's why it says Glam. It's trying to be dark, glamish. but it's a good palette. Then you have your nudes. This was the first one I got, was the nude palette. Love it, love it, love it. I don't reach for these palettes a lot, but I do like these palettes. I have the rose palette. I want to get the colored palette, so that's something I'll be writing down. I love this palette. I love the shades in this palette. Let me write that down. I'm sorry, write that down. Then I have the Fire and Ice palette, which is a pink shade. I'm going to say red and pink on that one. And Ice is like light purples and purples. My son liked that palette because his favorite color is purple. So he thought that was a beautiful palette. Getting into, I don't have very many left. This is one of my favorite Morphe palettes of all times. I do want to get the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette as well. I want to get both of her palettes. So I have the Morphe James Charles palette. I definitely want to get the Jeffree Star Morphe palette as well. Like I said, I want to get some Jeffree Star palette. I have panned 3 shades out of here. As you can tell, there's 3 shades panned. I love this palette. I love James Charles. I love this palette so much. This was a new palette I bought. This is after Art Silk eyeshadow palette. Hojo. I think they're trying to make it look like the Pat McGrath palette, to tell you the truth, but this is actually inside the cardboard with a mirror, so. But yes, these palettes are beautiful, and this shade right here is about to be panned because I loved using that shade. I don't use this palette much right now because I'm trying to use palettes that I've already got panned up, and it's hard. Now for the LA color palette, it looks like this. Here, I'll show you inside my little alien palette. Colors are colorful like that. And I think it's a beautiful palette. This one I haven't used much because I'm not really into like colors like that. But I'm going to keep it. And if I decide, it's by profusion, if I decide I want to get rid of it, I will definitely take the palette and give it to my stepdaughter. And then the 2 that is in my Project Pan, that's in Shop My Stash right now is the Color Workshop eyeshadow palette. If you look, there are 3 shades panned in here. I did use this palette the other day, and the green starting and yellow, those are 3 shades I'm trying to use up. So if I look funky with an eye shade with that, forgive me. Then my son Joshua bought me this one. This is a BYS Peach palette. He bought me this one before I got my Too Faced Peach palette. And I actually have 4 shades in here panned as well. So I love this palette as well because my son gave it to me. Is it sentimental value? Yes. Would I repurchase this palette again? Yes. This is one my stepdaughter bought me a kit, and all the other palettes I liked this one the best. So now for Pat McGrath, they're pretty pricey. He's pretty up there, pretty pricey. This one wasn't all that either. on Amazon, but I would probably purchase this palette again if I start using it more. It says Vivid Colors. It doesn't say. It says Hojo, so I guess the brand is Hojo. So anyway, but that is it for my palette collection. But I'm not just doing a palette collection. I was doing this to show you what palettes I would repurchase, what I would keep, what I have, and what I'm doing with my palettes. I am trying to get palettes that have been panned. I want to try to use up the shades. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if it will happen, but it may. I'm thinking of most of the palettes I have. Most of the palettes that I have panned that I said I would not repurchase again, I'm probably going to end up throwing them away in December and start over new because I'm going to start working now on seeing what I can get rid of palette wise for December and things like that. I'll be going through my palettes and say, don't want. If it hasn't been panned, I'll go ahead and keep it and use it. Maybe, or I may, even if I would not repurchase it again, I may see if my daughter wants it, or I can also donate it. So I can donate it to put it in a bag for the Salvation Army or Goodwill. We have a Goodwill down the street, and they used to take used makeup, and they have a lady there. She's really cool, and she washes it, cleans it, and then she'll turn around and sell it. So until next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you do. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please join the Toodle channel. See what we're all about. Come on. I would love to go live, but it seems like YouTube won't let me go live because I'm only 100 and something subscribers. So I do want to go live on YouTube. So I'd like to do a makeup look and be live on YouTube and do a makeup look, but I gotta get more subscribers to do that. So until next time, guys, I love you, man. Bye.